Hey, it's Aaron here at the Metal Theologian channel, and we are listening to Requiem Via Crucis. We've actually got some really special bad ones today. So this one, it's funny because this is kind of a bad record, but it's nowhere near my badness standards here. This is mostly just raw and kind of underproduced and maybe a little under-rehearsed too, let's be honest. But it's really good and it's committed. And these guys were a real band that were around for a while that had a serious go at it. And actually, Yosuke had these over at Nuclear War Now for just what a new record costs. And this is an original from 88 or 89, I think. So if you're interested, go take a look, because I don't know how many you had, but you got a few from somewhere. Anyway, that's my little public service announcement for today. It's right at the beginning. Alright, so we've got some sort of housekeeping to do here. And we have some really sort of special shitty records that I want to highlight here a little bit too. So yeah, alright, I'm not sure from the start there. So I got a big shipment of Jurgen Core in the mail. Okay? Jurgen was letting go of some shit. It wasn't mega grails and shit like that, but you kind of had a lot of shit that was just sort of fourth or fifth tier German shit that I kind of wanted to check out but didn't want to pay to ship over. So well, fuck it, let's just pull the trigger on a bunch of it at once. And there was some cool shit in there that I didn't know that I checked out. This is kind of a gem. I didn't know anything about this band. Vellocet. I don't know if that means something. Maybe someone can educate me. But yeah, I actually got an EP from them too. I guess I don't really know anything about them, but I guess they're sort of a hardcore band that went metal or something. Or at least that's what people said about them after the fact. Who knows what the story was at the time. Yeah, the other one's sitting here. Oh yeah, it's right here. This is the first EP, and to tell you the truth, I usually gravitate towards these debuts, but this one just sounds more like sort of a hardcore record, and it's I don't know, maybe when I'm more in the mood for something that's just sort of thrashy for its own sake, I'll be up for it. But, even not being in a particular thrashy sort of mood, this one really hit the spot. And I'm still listening to half reggae, I'm still listening to fucking Rico. This fucking record. Literally every day, so. And often followed by the Dove album. So given that, this record was surprisingly good. It kind of has some of that hardcore aesthetic or something like that. But it comes off like a really good thrash album, and it's punk enough, honestly, that I sort of wonder if I might like some of those crossover bands that I didn't like back then, like DRI and shit like that. Because the problem I always have with bands like them, and Suicidal Tendencies and shit like that, is when I was in the mood for punk, they sounded too metal. When I was in the mood for metal, they sounded too punk, And that really still kind of holds. I don't tend to like mixed sort of genres, you know what I mean? If you want to turn me off to a record, say, oh yeah, it's a rock band, but some reggae influence, and they do this jazz thing, and punk, you know what I mean? Use the word meets more than once, and I probably won't check out whatever band you're talking about. Punk meets metal meets ska, I'm out, So anyway, all this by way of saying, it's sort of one of those records that sort of shakes my assumptions, you know what I mean? And I really value that in music. I mean, that's why I'm here talking about shitty records all the time, and why I'm championing bands like Voivod, It's sort of in my brain because Alan over at Let's Talk Metal talked about them as being a band that everyone else likes that he has never really been able to get into. For me, it was Thin Lizzy for a recent set of questions. And, it's one of the bands that I just love, but part of why I love them is the same reason is because they're hard to listen to, you know what I mean? It's really challenging. When I can be a fan of a band for more than 30 years and they still have that effect, you gotta give credit. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, how many bands can you say that about? They listen to them and they still demand something of you after that many years. Not Frank Zappa, and people love Zappa. Alright, so, anyway. So in the Jurgen Core pack, it was sort of like the holy grail of Jurgen Core is what it is, okay? Because of all the bands with shitty names that came out of Germany that I really never gave the time of day to back then, the one that really stuck out as having the worst name was Gandhi. I mean, and like it's not even spelled right. And apparently, supposedly, it's there's some guy named Arnie Gandhi or something. Yeah, his I guess it's kind of his band, Arnie Gandhi. He seems to be kind of a character. He's actually I looked at his website. Apparently, he writes like German folk songs now, and he's like made a career for himself, just like doing specifically like for a German audience. You know what I mean? But just sort of like fun shit. You know, he's probably like someone you hire at parties. He's probably awesome. You know, he seems like might be a great guy, but he might be a dick. I kind of hope he's a dick. You know what I mean? Because it'd be fun if you had him like at your kid's birthday party and turned out that he would have this fucking rock star attitude, like Ingve or something like that. Only it was Arnie Gandhi. So yeah, I mean, what a dumb cover. Now the band, absolutely no complaints. Okay, except they almost look like it's a joke. You know what I mean? Like they look like a fake band. It's like it's too good, that picture. You know, like I could go through and start talking about that. Okay, so anyway, all this, so here's this record. Okay, it kind of sucks. Okay, I mean it's fun. Like it's a lot better than it really has any right to be. You know, it has a little bit of sort of a party vibe, but if you call this party metal, you're really kind of missing the mark. You know what I mean? It's more that like whenever this came out, '88 or whatever, they were sort of a like a sort of a traditional sounding metal band in the sea of thrash, and you know, definitely more sort of Van Halen than, you know, Deep Purple influence I'm hearing there, but still, you know. But here's a surprise, okay? I got that one because I was like, because he had both, and I was like, well, if I'm going to get one, I got to get both, right? So I got the second Gandhi record, okay? Called, with the even worse name of Grateful Message. Look at this fucking art, dude. This just looks so fucking bottom of the barrel. But this fucking record is low-key kind of genius. Like, I'm actually really pumped on Gandhi. I like this record way more than I expected to. And it's like, I listened to it one night. God, where's the fucking inner for this? Because I'm getting all excited. If you watch the channel, you might have known that the more excited I get about the record that I'm going to put on next, the harder a time I have finding the inner for the one that I just took off, right? Anyway, this fucking Gandhi record, like, I put it on one night and I was like, holy shit, is this actually great? And I was like, Jesus. And it kind of blew my mind. And then, like, there's this really shitty ballad in the middle of its first side, right? And I was like, oh, well, that brings it down. But then it kind of picks right back up again. I gotta, like, highlight this fucking second song on here. It's called, it has a really, I mean, all the titles are dumb, you know? It's called The Way I Am. Okay, that doesn't really sound that great, does it? The intros on this thing are kind of painful, too, by the way. There's like an intro on each side, and it's not like, it's funny, it's not like, it's just superfluous, actually. I was trying to come up with something really witty, but what those fucking things are is superfluous. They're not really fun to listen to. They don't, like, upset me too much or anything either, but. And that ballad sucks, but the rest of the songs on this thing are kind of bangers. And if I pick the right one here, it's fucking great. It actually reminds me of a Queen song off of Sheer Heart Attack. I can't remember what the, I think it was off Sheer Heart Attack. I don't remember what the name of the song was, though. I meant to look before I filmed this, but of course I didn't. So. First of all, it's a pretty good riff, isn't it? It's fucking Gandhi, dude. Who knew? Yeah, I think I might have queued up the wrong song, but I'm just going to let it run for a minute because we got something else to talk about here, too. So, I got an instant message from Steve over at the Harmless Rebel channel about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago already, something like that. He was like, hey man, what's your address again? Because I have a couple things here that just seem like they belong in your collection more than in mine. And I gotta tell you, that's like the best of these kinds of messages to get to, because it's not like, oh, I think you'll really like this. Then it's like, oh man, I didn't like it. I kind of feel like a dick telling them the truth. But you know, I have that. I mean, I can always find a reason to like something, because that isn't really much of an issue. But anyway, just really sort of low pressure. So I was like, well, that's cool. Let's sort of see, you know, like absolutely no preconceptions. So what's in there? So the pack arrives, and shout out to Steve at the Harmless Rebel channel, okay? Everyone should be subscribed to him. He's kind of my cohort. I think he started his channel a couple months before I did, but it was within 6 months of each other we did. And so yeah, there's like a little bit of a bond there anyway, you know? Even though I've never met Steve in person, it's bound to happen eventually, I'm sure. Anyway, so there are two really cool things in there, all right? First one was this picture disc of the Centaurus record. I don't know if you know this, but this is one of the really early Azra records. And it's not really a great record. It's kind of, you know, it's a late 70s hard rock record, and that's kind of what it sounds like, you know. It's kind of more interesting than fantastic, but I've never actually seen this picture disc before. You know, and that's kind of what the label is known for. I mean, that's what D.T. Richards kind of did with Ironworks and Metal Storm and Azra too. You know, it's all those like crazy ass different shapes and picture disc variations, and I almost said lathe cuts, but I don't think they actually did lathe cuts. He just like did weird shit with how the discs were cut, shape-wise, you know. Anyway, so this is really sort of an interesting piece and a really cool sort of a thing, and it's funny because I actually have a copy of the regular version of this that I pulled out to listen to anyway. So I haven't quite gotten to it yet, but that's kind of coming anyway because I'm going to be talking about I'm going to make a video before too long about like the whole like sort of Iron Storm and or Metal Storm and Ironworks. You know, the DT Richards labels: Stormtrooper, Commander, Overkill, Dark Angel. You know. Fucking GHANDI, man. Okay, you know something? I put on the wrong thing. So we're going to flip this and we're going to find the song that's actually great. But you know something? I don't mind that I played you that one. Yeah. So in case y'all didn't catch that, I put on the right track on the wrong side. That was my little boneheaded move there for the video. There's always one. Alright, this is the fucking... This fucking rules, dude. Fucking GHANDI, man. How good is this? Jesus Christ. And this is like a fucking $1 record in Germany, you know? Probably costs you $30 if you're in the States, but 2/3 of that is shipping. Like, you know, Arnie GHANDI may have been a fucking shredder at heart, but like his playing is just too tasteful to bring this record down the way I'd expect, you know what I mean? It's like the sort of thing where the band's called GHANDI and that's bad enough, and then you find, and it's spelled wrong, and that makes it even worse. And then you find out it's the fucking guy, and it's like, there's nothing that you could do that would do more to like seal this thing in its fucking grave, right? For my taste anyway, you know? I mean, that's why you never see that Impellitteri record on this channel or anything like that. Life's too short for Yngwie Malmsteen records, unless you're making fun of them. And then you still don't listen to them, you just talk about it. So yeah, GHANDI, dude, this record has no right to be any good at all. And it's kind of fantastic. It's like just the right level of slop in there with the backing vocals, you know? And that screaming thing, I swear there's a Queen song that reminds me of it. I'm 90% sure it's on the Sheer Heart Attack album. Alright. Yeah, I'm in awe of fucking GHANDI, dude. Here's another good Jurgen Core one. Another one that's really not very good. And this one's just not very good. This one isn't even as good as the GHANDI record, honestly. Even though you really want to like it. That's kind of why I feel like, you know, to tell you all about it is the Christian thing to do. Because first of all, it's East German, dude. You know? Formel 1. Formel 1 is what it actually is. If I'm going to say Aschbaum, then I can say Formel 1, right? So, and fucking check out that fucking bald spot. You know, you've seen mine on more than one video. Not so much since Spencer quit filming me. But, yeah, I mean, these guys just have a ton of credibility. Actually, the drums sound super processed on this record, to the point where it's kind of comical. And, you know, there are a couple covers on here, like they do, like Breaking the Law. Okay, it's the last song on the album, so you can just turn it off, you're good. They do a cover of Hallowed Be Thy Name, and to even try a song like that, they kind of get some points, you know? But this record's just kind of boring, man. You know, it sounds like, I mean, it kind of sounds like it's from East Germany, you know? This one's a lot more of a banger. And these are my only two East German records, by the way. This Babylon one. I should have a better copy of this one now. The other one's kind of shitty. Yeah, this one kind of slaps. I mean, it's not a great record, but like for just like an ordinary heavy metal record, I mean, I put this on before when I was making dinner, and I totally enjoyed it, you know? But it's not GHANDI. It's not the mighty GHANDI. That's gonna be my thing. Cause like, it, sort of a little project of mine, ever since I started hearing people who weren't Lars Ulrich talk about the mighty Diamond Head. Like, I mean, back in the 90s, that started to piss me off. I was like, okay, Diamond Head is cool, but like, you're a fucking tool aping Lars's dumb little throwaway line just because he's the biggest Diamond Head fan. And I've been sort of looking for a band to sort of christen with the mighty appellation, just to sort of a little bit of a middle finger to pretentious music types, which I don't know if Lars really is. He's pretentious, but I don't know if he's a I don't know, man. That's a rabbit hole. Anyway, I just thinking that like there's really no one who deserves the crown more than the mighty GHANDI. It's fucking great, man. And this is why I listen to shitty records, man, because once in a while there's been one that really fucking blows me away. Now, I gotta be honest, the rest of the record isn't as good as this song, okay? I'm even gonna let this run afterwards, because the next ballad's kind of dog shit. And so, like, you'll hear the worst of it. So, like, before you go and, like, fucking try really hard to find this. But this is a fucking fun record, man. The first GHANDI, fine, nothing wrong with it. It's better than that Babylon record, but not by much, okay? Actually, they're probably about the same. But this record kind of smokes, dude. Fucking, what's it called? Grateful Message? By, I don't know. Oh, I almost forgot. There was another one that Steve sent me, too. We're fucking spacey today, man. Check this thing out, dude. So this isn't going to be another Sun Ra video, right? But fucking test pressing, man. That is really cool, you know? This is totally something to cherish, man. Yeah, I don't know how many of these they make for Sundays, but, what a cool piece, you know? That's a good record. Not my favorite Sun Ra, but, you know, out of 100. See, listen, this was their fucking single, too, I think. Some bullshit. Anyway, everyone subscribe to Harmless Rebel. Alright. So I promised 2 awesome shitty records. This one's a gem, too. You know something? I gotta be honest. I don't buy records for content. I really don't, you know? Sometimes it'll cross my mind that, like, that will also be a good thing to talk about on the channel, but if I don't want it, I'm not gonna fucking buy it, okay? This one, I read the description. Okay, it's a rare record. It came up cheap because of an obvious flaw, okay? I looked at that and I was kind of balked at first for the same reasons that, like, Alan would have if Alan wanted a record this shitty, which he probably doesn't. But, like, I thought about it for a minute and I was like, you know something? That'd be a lot of fun to show on the channel. And it kind of belongs... And if there's anyone in the world who would appreciate this, it's probably me, so... Well, so I pulled the trigger, which is why I am now showing you the fucking Vaughn record. Ever heard of this one before? Well, in case you haven't, Someone was thoughtful enough to correct the title from holy metal to poser metal in quotes. Fucking, you know something? They weren't really wrong, but it's not as bad as it makes that sound. Like whoever said that, well, I don't know. Whoever said that was probably, I was gonna say they were probably a total thrasher, but they were probably about as much of a thrasher as I was in the late '80s, where you know. I borderline would have thought Iron Maiden was poser for being too slow, you know? I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit to make a point, but... Anyway, so we're going to listen to Vaughn, because I don't think you're going to hear Vaughn anywhere else. I'm going to keep saying his fucking name, too, because look at Vaughn, dude. Vaughn is bringing it when it comes to the holy poser metal. I don't know anything about this record. I read a review about it on the Colosseum, and I was like, yeah, that kind of sounds like it's for me. I don't even remember what it said. It was on my wish list, so... The review impressed me at one point. Look at that label, though. And this side doesn't even have anything on it. You see that? Like my Graven Image record is like that. That's the only other one I can think of off the top of my head that isn't etched. I don't see why they don't just press a song on each side, but I don't know. Maybe it costs more to get 2 plates made or something. I can see why this would piss someone off if they were hoping it was going to sound like Overkill. Dude, those fucking drum effects. The drum machine, I should say. There's no information on this thing, so I have no idea. I mean, I don't even know if he's in the band. Maybe this is like a fake band. Like, this is another one of the fucking... That guy from Virgin Steel in Canada who did all those fake projects like Original Sin and shit. Maybe this is one that didn't take off. It didn't get the notoriety of, you know, Exorcist or Devil Child or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is really kind of... I mean, this is crap in a really glorious way. You know who's going to geek out of this fucking record is Chromie D. Everyone subscribe to Chromium Dioxide Radio. 2 songs on this guy. I'll laugh really hard if I get an ad put on because I played Vaughn. So speaking of thrashier ones, here's another one that came back from Jurgen, man. I'd never heard Anthares before. They're from, shit, I should have known this. Somewhere in... Well, I was going to say somewhere in South America, but it's all in Portuguese, so it looks like it's probably Brazil. And, that's what I expect my South American bands to look like, you know? Yeah, no limitada força. If that's how you say it in Portuguese. Anyway, man, this is fucking good record, man. I mean, I was kind of expecting it to be like a cool, fun South American record, and that is kind of is what it is. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not the second coming of the mighty Mystifier or anything like that. But it's a really good record. It's really solid. I think it holds its own among I mean anyone else. I keep wanting to say Sarcophago, which kind of isn't fair, but I think they're a little bit overrated, honestly. You know, Sepultura too, man. I'd take Holocausto or Chakar. Well, I don't know if I'd take it. It's hard for me to say. I kind of feel like, sort of like the Stones of the 60s, to tell you the truth. Like, there were really a lot of bands out there that were about the same caliber, and they were the ones that got lucky, you know? I mean, I listened to those 60s Stones records. Especially the early ones, where they were just doing, like, the R&B shit before they started doing the harder drugs, you know? And I don't know, man, to my ears, those guys don't really sound any better than, you know, the Leaves or the Count 5 or something like that. You know what I mean? But they got lucky, and that's fine. That's life, you know? I sort of feel like on a smaller scale that Sarcophago and especially Sepultura kind of got the same thing, you know? I mean, they're both great. I'm not shitting on either of those bands. Okay, just so we're absolutely clear here. Like, I like those bands a lot. But I don't think they're like these standouts among like all these other bands that were sort of less. I think Mystifier is better than either of them. Especially on that first album, Wicca. I think that's the first one. The first one I got. Yeah, this is pretty committed. If this is just one guy, and that's him in a room all by himself, right on, man. Good on him. It's kind of going for that rougher, like more like a Blackie Lawless sound than like, you know, like a Vince Neil kind of wimpier sound. Yeah, I can get behind Vaughn. This is one of those records where when I put it on, I was like, oh, I'm gonna let my guard down to put this, to really get much out of this record. So I let my guard down a little bit and put it on. And a little, like, 30 seconds of the first song, I was like, I don't think my guard's down enough. I had to let it down some more, and I was like, yeah, this is really good, dude. So yeah. I think that's about all I've got from here at the Metal Theologian channel, which happens to be run by the biggest Vaughn fan on all of YouTube, and maybe on the fucking planet. Got a copy of this too. I've never owned this before. That's a really cool record. You know something? I really like the song Metal Heart. My like memory of it was like this fucking turd that I couldn't stand. Because that Fear Elise business in the middle, I didn't feel like hearing it. And that just kind of colored the whole song. I put this on, I was like, God damn, dude, this is really good, man. I just fucking forgot. So it's kind of nice to be reacquainted with an old friend that way, even though I never actually owned this record before. So there you go, man. It's funny how these psychological things work out, isn't it? And that's what we're all about over here at the Metal Theologian channel, is the fucking psychology of it all. So thanks for watching. Did you see this Vaughn record in the thrift store? I mean, you can leave it there if you want, but I'll say you made a mistake. Thanks for watching.